Happy New Year, everyone. I hope that you are all well, and what a privilege it is to be able to sit down with you at last and show you just a little preview of some of the book reviews that will be coming at the beginning of the year 2022. These are some of the books that I picked up over the past couple of months, and quite specifically over the past couple of weeks that I've spent in London with my sister. And yeah, this was a really, really nice opportunity to visit all my favorite places, including the British Museum, where I picked up this really lovely reproduction of the bull-footed lamassu, which will now be sitting on my brand new bookcase. How glorious is that, right? Yeah, very, very cool. You know, I was telling you early last year that I was running out of space. Well, hopefully I've solved that problem, at least temporarily. As you can see, it's already starting to get filled up, and with these ones in addition, that's going to be even more. But let's start off over here on the left-hand side with some of the more Eastern practices that I bought books about. Many of these have actually come from Watkins Books. This is the Litanies of Thoth, which is a book that accompanies the Book of Flesh and Feather by Frater Jehuti. Really looking forward to showing you a little bit more about that. The Doctrine of Vibration was a book that was recommended to me directly by Carl Nordblom at Watkins Books. What a privilege, right, to be able to to get personal recommendations from Carl Nordblom. That's very, very cool. Thank you so much for this. Really looking forward to finding out a little bit more about this, the analysis of the doctrines and practices of Kashmir Shaivism. Now, this is not a beautiful book, but Carl assures me that this is of great value with regards to a deeper understanding of certain forms of Tantric Shaivism. So that's very exciting. Next, we've got Sharp Practice by Robert Fitzgerald, The Ritual Dagger in Bond Sorcery and Vajrayana Buddhism. Really, really looking forward to this one. This was a three hands press release from a couple of years back, I believe. And yeah, I've been wanting to pick it up, but the shipping costs have been prohibitive, so I have not had a chance yet. Next, another personal recommendation from Carl Nordblom, The Aphorisms of Shiva, the Shiva Sutra, with Bhaskara's commentary, the Vartika. These seem to be very, very beautifully explained Shiva Sutras, which are very recently translated and quite difficult to pick up, apparently. The Book of Samurai, Fundamental Samurai Teachings. Really looking forward to this one. This is a Watkins publication, hence presumably the 10% off. Some of you may be worried about this sticker here, but I know from experience that Watkins stickers come off very easily. They make a point of that. I'll show you all of that, all in good time. Next is a book from an exhibition that I saw in London at the British Museum. Hokusai, the great picture book of everything. Hokusai decided to make an encyclopedia of all things, right? But in picture form. And oh my goodness, just some of the most beautiful illustrations ever right here. And this is a book that accompanies that. I'll go into more detail about what all that was about in the very near future. Next are two, I'm going to say they're somewhere between an art book and a book on the yokai of Japan, right? So these are books by Benjamin Lacombe. There we are. These are the illustrations by Benjamin Lacombe. And I'll just give you a quick look at just the beauty of some of these images. I'll do a proper review, but it's a book that's in French. But obviously, those illustrations might be of interest to some of you who don't speak French. But for those of you who do speak French, I can absolutely guarantee that these are not to be missed. All right, and then just before we get to the very deep occult stuff here, just a couple more children's books, or rather, I say children's books, but they are really an issue of the Gnostic mind of Philip Pullman. These are the illustrated editions of Northern Lights, known in America as the Golden Compass and the Subtle Knife. Both have just received these new illustrated editions, so I am very likely to make a couple of videos on those. Now let's have a look at these slightly more occult or maybe more Western occult texts. STELLAS DAEMONUM, which just arrived actually here yesterday. I believe that I'm not the only person in the world to have received a damaged copy. We'll see how that goes, but apparently the text is absolutely worth reading, with forewords by Lon Milo Duquette and Stephen Skinner there. Very, very excited to find out more about that, the history of demons and how various gods and goddesses became demonized. Then we've got 2 books by Peter Hamilton Giles. I believe that this one, Standing at the Crossroads, may be out of print at the moment. But yeah, Standing at the Crossroads and The Witching Other. Looking forward to reviewing both of these beautiful books for you. Next, we've got my first ever book by Troy Books. This is Nigel G. Pearson's Treading the Mill, Workings in Traditional Witchcraft. Got 2 more Nigel G. Pearson books on their way directly from Troy Books, which I ordered yesterday. Really looking forward to reading this one. Nigel G. Pearson is one of the main voices for traditional witchcraft, and well, love it or hate it, it's certainly a major part of today's occult scenery, and it's a good idea to at least get an idea of what it's all about. Then we've got the Hecateon. Now this was a 2nd edition, which I purchased actually second hand. I haven't read it yet. It's very high on my to-read list, which, as you can see, is quite large, but is very high on my to-read list. I'm expecting to receive the 3rd edition just to compare it to, right? Very, very soon, hopefully within the next 2 or 3 weeks, depending on how fast the post from America is. I think it was dispatched just a few days ago. I'd specifically asked Miskatonic Books to hold it back for me while I came back from my holidays. Here's another one, Monas Hieroglyphica by John Dee, the new Ouroboros Press book. Yeah, very excited to read this one and to show it to you. It's been out for a good few weeks now, so I should probably get my skates on and get that one reviewed for you. CONJURE Codex, which is Hadean Press's journal, edited by Jake Stratton Kent, and many others with articles by many well-regarded practitioners. I am very excited to show you this one. It's possibly one of the ones that I'm most excited to show you, and it's surprisingly inexpensive for what you're getting, and surprisingly well put together book, right? Some really interesting articles in there. Next, we've got Born of Blood and Fire by Richard Ward. This is a new Scarlet imprint book I brought with me. Let me just show you what I actually ended up bringing with me on holiday. Secrets of Voodoo. I said that I'd be bringing Gateways Through Light and Shadow, but it was at the last minute I swapped it out for this one just because it was too heavy. And in fact, I had so little time to myself. I'm quite glad that I didn't risk damaging Gateway's book in my travels, because I just managed to read the first couple of chapters of this, but it's fascinating. Absolutely great introduction to voodoo, and just a debunking of the Western perception of what voodoo is, you know. Anyway, I'll talk about all of that during my review, and this seems to be a great second book to read once you've got an idea of what real voodoo is, right? This is about the Petro rite, and I'll show you all of that all in good time when I actually read it and review it properly. This was a recommendation from Jake Stratton Kent, not a personal recommendation, but one that I picked up from his Facebook page. Matthew Dickey writes Magic and Magicians in the Greco-Roman World, and apparently this is a really nice history from a scholar who actually knows what he's talking about, and this was a really exciting one to find on the shelves at Watkins Books. Here are the holy books of the AA in this really lovely leather-bound version, but it's like a flexible cover there, and it just looks so cool. Looking forward to reading through that as well. This is one that just arrived yesterday, The Elucidation of Necromancy. This is probably the book that everyone's going to be picking up this month. Joseph H. Peterson. It's not available yet in Europe. I think there's due to be available in Europe on the 25th of January, something along those lines, but I ordered it directly from the United States because I just couldn't wait. I kind of paid the price for getting it sent over from Amazon by having it slightly damaged, but at least I'll be able to dig my teeth into it as soon as possible, and have that review for you very, very soon, so that you know what you're picking up if you haven't done so already. Historiola from Carl Nordblom. I actually picked this one up before I saw Carl. I picked it up. I went to Watkins about 3 times, and I picked this one up on my first visit. It was the only copy that was on the shelves at the time, and it's a little bit damaged there, but it was the only one. And then I went back the second time, and there was a pile, massive pile on the display table. Very, very happy to have picked this one up. I was very excited to see the topic of this book, right? I mean, the power of narrative charms is exactly what I'm in this for in the first place, right? I think that's a massively important book from Hadean Press. The Reign of Saturn, again, that dust cover has suffered a little bit in my bag, but not terrible, right? Again, one that I had hoped to pick up a long time ago, but the shipping costs had just prevented me from going any further with that. The Reign of Saturn transformed into an Age of Gold. This is a translation from the Latin by Michael A. Putman, and again, really looking forward to this one. I think that the premise seems very exciting. The Carfax monographs, Steffi and Kenneth Grant, which just got released a couple of weeks ago, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. Looking forward to reading that and giving you a full picture of what it's like all in due time. And then finally, just a couple of additional bonus books, which I just remembered to add to the pile. Practical Alchemy, A Guide to the Great Work by Brian Cote-Noir. This is one that I've heard a lot of good about and looking forward to reading more about. Veneficium by Daniel A. Schulk. Magic, Witchcraft and the Poison Path, yet another one by Daniel Schulk, 13 Pathways of Occult Herbalism, and the Poison Path Herbal, which again has received some great reviews. Baneful Herbs, Medicinal Nightshades and Ritual Entheogens by Kobe Michael. And then finally, the Occult Botany, Sedir's Concise Guide to Magical Plants. So this is recently translated there by R. Bailey. And so there we go. Just a few botanical books there as well. Some Green Path books. There we go. That's pretty much it for my book haul. Quite a few to look forward to. I hope you've spotted one or two that you like the look of. Happy New Year to everyone. Please remember to leave a thumbs up. This is what keeps my channel alive, and to subscribe down below if you haven't done so already. Are there any books that you have managed to pick up over the holiday period that other people might be excited to hear about, or maybe that I haven't even heard about? Leave a comment down below. Maybe there are some books here that you've seen that you would love to pick up and that you're very excited for me to to review for you so that you can get a better idea of what it looks like inside, leave me a comment down below and I can maybe bump that up towards the top of the reading list and the review list. Take care of yourselves. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and see you very soon with another video. Take care. Bye-bye.